Here we go again. In 2014, there was the Olaf boost. In 2017, there was the big jump bug. And now, in 2022, during the PGL Major Antwerp, we have the Munacy smoke. The idea is that when a smoke sits on top of another smoke, it cancels it out, giving you a one-way. You can see them, but they can't see you. This was used in a game against Navi as well. If this smoke was not used, Imperial could have won this map. Munacy, my man. You gotta save the zero-day exploits for the real games. Just to let this fully sink in, this exploit works anywhere where you can get the smokes into a similar position. So that's every map in the game, that's many different positions in the game. It's clearly an exploit, and it clearly isn't the intended use of smoke grenades in Counter-Strike. I think showing people how to do it would be irresponsible. Here's how to do it. The idea is to get your smoke stuck on this door thing kind of halfway down. It'll cancel out this smoke so you can see under it. This is for a mid smoke that lands about right there. What you want to do is run into this, look up, look for this dark spot next to the light spot, kind of in the middle geometry. Walk up next to the door, let go, it'll go, and then you can kind of go underneath this bad boy and boom, I can see top mid. That is so broken. That is so broken. In any software, there's gonna be glitches, exploits, bugs. How other esports get around this is they just make a catch-all rule that says, you cannot use exploits. Now the problem with this is, what defines an exploit? What defines the intended use of certain mechanics inside of the game? The reason why they word it that way and make it vague on purpose is so that they can enforce the rules however they want when anything pops up. I don't like that. For the players, the most responsible thing to do would be to ask the tournament organizers if something is allowed or not. Which is exactly what Munacy did. We also asked on RMR Qual's tournament admins if we can use this smoke. They allowed it to use. So leave the kid alone, for crying out loud. That's more than anybody has ever done in the history of Counter-Strike exploits. How long did that coach bug thing sit in the game and nobody was like, hey, you might want to look at this and try to fix this horrible exploit that ruins the game. It was like 3 years or something, right?
Okay, bro, it's still effed up. It's intentional use of game bug, like WTF.
You can throw Molotov on Ancient from T-spawn on mid and it doesn't explode in the air. Should this be fixed? Yes! Counter-Strike Global Offensive is an old game. It's about 10 years old and it's showing signs of dementia. It might be time to take it around back and, you know. What Valve should do is make a new Counter-Strike from the ground up on the Source 2 engine, get rid of all the old chunky code, and make something truly beautiful that we can all appreciate. But they won't, because skins. After 10 years of patches on top of patches, keeping the game running like a Mad Max vehicle in a steampunk universe, smokes are very, very broken. And this is not the only exploit, the only glitch that's associated with smokes. Smokes need a full rewrite. They can't keep duct taping it. They've been doing it for years and sort of gave up. They're still extremely broken and janky. So many workarounds they had to do with them. It's not enough and never will be. It's messy AF and doesn't work. This is Zool. He's like the most respected modder in the scene. Guy knows what he's talking about. So should Valve fix it? Yes. Will they? Probably not in time. So what needs to happen is for PGL to step in and make a rule that says you cannot knowingly exploit this specific exploit. We don't want teams to all of a sudden make a mad dash to try to find all of the different positions on the map. It would completely ruin the tournament.
We are using the latest client version of CSGO, and we will allow the smoke going forward.
Oh. I legitimately think that they made this decision in order to cover up their initial screw-up of telling Munacy that it was okay to do this. What reasonable person would look at this exploit and say, no, you know what? This is fine. Yeah, throwing smokes that cancel out other smokes, that's totally cool. What would happen if they reversed the decision? G2 versus Imperial has already been played. Do you replay that whole game? They worded this to kind of put the blame on Valve and be like, well, the game's broken, guys. There's nothing we can do about it. But there are already known glitches in the game that rules have been made against, like pixel walking, for example. That's a well-known one. At least the players could get together and decide to not abuse.
Okay, time to find all lineups on all maps. Time to enjoy.
Here's what's gonna happen. Kerrigan's obviously joking. The players are gonna get together. They're gonna make a gentleman's agreement not to use the smoke. As I'm editing this video, the players got together. They made a gentleman's agreement not to use the smoke. That is sportsmanship, baby! Now that I think about it, Imperial got ultra omega screwed here. The exploit was already used against them. it's not gonna be used against anybody else, and the original use is not against the rules. Like, that is like a lose-lose-lose for those poor guys. For the record, here's Hunter doing the lineup and thinking about throwing the smoke. This isn't just one player. It's a team decision by G2 to use this. Consider that it takes 3 players to Olaf boost. Why is it solely Olaf Meister's blame? Just because he was the head of the totem? Instead of calling this the Munacy smoke, which I did earlier in this video, let's just call it smoke canceling. Smokes in Counter-Strike are very broken. I think that one-way smokes give you an unfair advantage. The smoke should not be designed in a way where you can have one-way smokes. I think that when Valorant designed how their smokes work, they came up with the hard boundaries around the smokes specifically to prevent that sort of thing from happening. So the only one-ways you can get in Valorant are perspective-based. That's the right way to do it, even though it looks ugly, but that's fine. The gameplay should come first. I don't care if it looks ugly. Every once in a while when I'm playing, I don't know if this happens to you too, I see silhouettes through the smokes. It must be a glitch. I can see the players kind of walking through and I stop. I'm like, should I shoot him? I can see him. It feels a little dirty. And every once in a while, I also get this glitch where I could see the player silhouettes through the walls and they have like little health bars above their heads, but it only happens when my friend Clara's been using my computer. This keeps happening. The players find a goofy exploit, they bring it out for the major, everybody gets mad. I think it's impossible to come up with a foolproof set of rules. People are always gonna find loopholes to those rules, and there's always gonna be a layer of ambiguity as to the interpretation of those rules. That goes for the rules that are programmed into the game itself, as well as the rules that tournament organizers like PGL come up with. Counter-Strike is a very competitive game. There's a lot on the line here. People have devoted their lives to this game. I think this is going to keep happening. Valve needs to fix their game. PGL needs to come up with a proper set of rules and then actually enforce those rules. But because none of that is happening, the players have come up with a gentleman's agreement. It's not a good solution, but it's what needs to happen. Otherwise, the tournament will just descend into full chaos, which would be very entertaining, let's be honest. Another stopgap is that exploiting a glitch like this is obviously bad sportsmanship, and if you do it, everyone will hate you. When the Fnatic Olaf boost thing happened, there was so much backlash that Fnatic dropped out of the tournament. I think they realized that protecting their brand and their image was more important than just that one tournament. There's a part of me, deep down in the recesses of my mind, in the twisted darkness of my heart, that wants one team to just go, nah, we're gonna use it. It's not against the rules. What are you gonna do about it? We're gonna use it, and we're gonna win. Isn't that crazy? It's like 10 years into this game and it's still the Wild West. The players should not be the ones making the rules. Thank you folks very much for watching. I'm TheWarOwl, and I still have no closer. I normally don't post 2 videos in 2 days, so people might miss it. I posted a video yesterday, check it out, it's really good.